r/askreddit. What is a clear and objective food crime that people are getting away with because we're fighting about pineapple pizza? My stepdad knew a man who loved ranch dressing. Ate it with everything. I said fine, no big deal. But when he told me the man mixed ranch and water and drank it, I knew that man needed to be sentenced to death. Dude was a fucking alien. Probably Sugar Water's cousin from Mib. My friends are obsessed with ranch. This one time, my friend was downstairs in his room with his girlfriend and they were getting frisky while the rest of us were drinking upstairs. About 10 minutes later, he comes upstairs all sweaty, grabs a bottle of ranch, looks us all dead in the eyes and then goes back downstairs. He still won't tell us what he was doing with the ranch. But our imaginations have filled in some blanks. LMAO. I made a face. I'm still making it. Our anger upvotes. I saw a dude eat a frozen popsicle with a fork and knife. In a room full of guys, can't be caught sucking on a pop. I used to be the personal assistant to a publishing executive, and I once saw him eat a Snickers bar on a plate with a knife and fork. What am I going to use my hands? Like an animal? My cousin eats a ketchup sandwich while dipping it in his coffee. Edit. Oh wow. I didn't know this would blow up. Thanks for the awards, guys. That's it. You just won the thread. I've got a tough stomach and a pretty adventurous palate, but that made me wanna puke. What part of Florida? Edit. Holy crap. Thank you kind strangers for gold and silver. Previous boss of mine used to eat packaging peanuts straight out of recently arrived shipments. What's the problem? They're made from cornstarch. Yeah, but you know what? Carry on. There's entertainment value to be had from you doing that, even if there's no nutritional value or flavor. This is like the next level, galaxy brain of eating ice. They're probably super dirty. Like the styrofoam looking things? Are there different types of packing peanuts? Because I swear ours are styrofoam. I have an aunt that will always use sugar instead of salt in mashed potatoes. I think prison is the only option. Death? You mean death? I've been putting soy sauce on grapes. As that one? This needs more attention. Get help. That is mind-boggling. I have so many questions. How did you come up with that? Do you eat this often? What kind of grapes? How do you apply the soy sauce? Doesn't it just glide off the grape's skin? I kinda want to try this actually. Oreos dipped in orange juice. Fuck this thread, I'm out. My local restaurant once served mozzarella pizza with marshmallows. I think they meant to put marshmallows with chocolate, but things got mixed up on the way. Edit. For everyone correcting it to be marshmallows, my apologies. English isn't my first language, but I'll never again commit this crime. Nah, the Ninja Turtles just skipped out on an order because the shredder tried to bring the Technodrome to the surface during the lunch rush and you were served the leftovers. Wendy's got rid of spicy nuggets, but just brought them back for a limited time only. I never understood why the company would get rid of such a popular item. Companies get more money by reintroducing an item for a limited amount of time due to everyone remembering and missing it, making the food memory more delicious. Like the McDonald's McRib, that thing is just a school sandwich. All the hype is for a disgusting school lunch item. Edit. I don't know why people are giving me crap in my inbox about being rich or something, lol. I'm shitting on the McRib because I'd actually eat it because I was hungry, not because I liked it. It's somewhat of a compliment that many of you think I actually had money to buy something else rather than free food. KFC used to sell something called the Triple Crunch Zinger, which was pretty much the best fast food sandwich ever created. Not only did they stop making it, but to fake it has never even come back for a limited time. Friend of a friend, from Eastern Europe, went to Nick years ago. He went to some cheap canteen and got a bowl of soup. The tables in that place were long and everyone could sit everywhere, so you can get strangers sitting right next to you, which is what happened to this guy. The man next to him got a bowl of soup too. European guy put sour cream in his soup, while the American guy put ketchup. They both looked at each other, like what the fuck are you doing? Edit. Since a lot of people are asking, I think it was cabbage soup with meat, kind of like a watery stew or something. I'm American and I definitely think putting sour cream in soup is delicious while putting ketchup in it is disgusting. I know it's common in Russia to put sour cream on everything. Cereal plus water, instead of milk. My mom's told me repeatedly her family was poor when she was younger, so sometimes they couldn't afford milk and would just eat water on shit like cornflakes, and every time I'm like, you have the option to eat it dry, WTF. It's not that bad. Someone should just invent cereal coated in powdered milk and be done with it. Wait, what? That's a thing? Someone in another post is putting watermelon on his pizza. Like, WTF, dude. I once knew someone who put it on mac and cheese. I still shudder. Edit. Since many of you think I mean pizza, no. He just had a bowl of mac and cheese and just straight up went to town with ketchup. Typically, American YouTubers tasting Aussie or Kiwi snacks, who try a whole spoonful of Marmite Vegemite on their first time trying it. I've never understood that. Are they dense? I'll add South African snacks food to this list because I've seen some egregious crimes against humanity from Americans eating our snacks. If you're tasting a foreign food item, at least look up how it's commonly consumed. I've seen one video where they mix Milo with just straight water and then they say it tastes like shit. The back of the damn tin shows you various ways to use it. Luckily I read about how you should use Vegemite before I tried it. I spread the thinnest layer I could on some toast, I think with a bit of butter. It's been a while. That shit still tasted absolutely revolting. Putting a ton of ketchup on everything. It physically hurts when I see people covering their entire pizza slice with ketchup. Wait, roll on back. Ketchup on pizza? What fresh hell is this? One time my girlfriend ordered French toast, topped with berries and whipped cream, for brunch once. She has the diet of an 11-year-old. Instead of being topped with whipped cream though, the kitchen mistakenly topped it with creamy horseradish sauce. Now, I know, mistakes happen, not the crime, but when we communicated the issue to our server, he spoke with the chef, who then came out and spoke with us and apologized. It was a simple labeling mix-up in the kitchen. He corrected it, all good. Before he left though, he kind of laughed to himself and said, "You know what's funny? We've had 4 other people order that this morning, but you are the first to say anything about it," and then walked back to the kitchen. That means 4 people had French toast for brunch topped with horseradish, ate it, and said nothing. They were just okay with it. The number of people who won't speak up when the food they paid for is done terribly astounds me. Not breaking Kit Kats into their individual sticks before you eat them. A friend of mine once bit sideways into a Kit Kat and we were all horrified. Give him a break. 90% sure anyone who does this is a serial killer. Scraping the toppings right off of pizza and eating it separately. It's blasphemy. My mom did this after she had surgery. She really wanted some pizza but couldn't handle the bread. You're all thinking of foods getting put together that shouldn't be, but what about underappreciated, overhated foods? Brussels sprouts are delicious when cooked well, but everyone acts like they're gastronomic enemy number 1. Brussels sprouts follow the same fate as a lot of other vegetables. People just don't cook them the right way. I grew up being used to having all vegetables boiled to within an inch of their life. When I started cooking myself, I quickly realized that steaming or baking vegetables completely transforms the taste. With Brussels they have to be steamed, then tossed with melted butter and crispy bacon in frying pan. Delicious. To everyone wondering how to make good Brussels sprouts, don't boil them. Toss them in some spice mix and grill them. If you don't have a grill pan, sear them. Eating breakfast cereal with water. My husband is a monster. I love him. But has he spent time in prison, or did he grow up very poor? Pineapple ain't shit. Japanese wife puts mayo, egg, corn, potato and french fries on pizza like it's normal. Work at a pizza place. A lady brought in some corn and wanted half of it on her pizza. We all thought it was weird until later. We charred some and put it on a crust with salsa, cheese, peppers and onions. That shit was good. Taking excessive food at buffets and wasting most of it. It should be a crime if not a conviction of the conscience. The downside of buffets is often the food has been sitting a long time and you don't know what is nasty until you take it. For me it was when my old roommate would eat an onion like it was an apple. My sister used to do this with garlic. Eesh. When people put whatever sauce they're having with their fries all over the fries instead of to the side like a normal person. I used to do that until I realized a few things. 1. You can't cover all the fries without filling the tub with sauce. 2. You will get your hands covered in sauce as you try to pick out the fries. 3. It's not practical as you constantly have to add more sauce. 4. They get soggy from the saturation. 5. You get the ones that are cold and covered in runny sauce. Now I just put it in a corner and dip. Like a normal human being. Edited to add a few more very important notes. Thanks Redditors. Putting soy and corn byproducts into everything. Or palm oil. People actually drinking milk coke. Add some vodka and Kahlua, it's a solid choice. Massive amounts of food being thrown away by restaurants and such at the end of the day instead of finding ways for it to be donated or allowing employees to take it home etc etc. My catering company donates so much leftover food to a company that repurposes it for meals for underserved families in my area. What they do with it is amazing. I let a guy couch surf at my place for a while and he would sit with a tube of Pringles, a thing of ketchup, and one of mustard, and eat the whole tube, squeezing ketchup and mustard on each one. He also tried to fug my mom. Some days I struggle with which of those irritates me more. Not asking permission and grabbing food from someone's plate with your bare hands. Youtubers eating ice cream with their hands at convenience stores and then putting the carton back in the freezer. That's a plain crime. These are the same people we shamed out of eating Tide Pods, so we really only have ourselves to blame. People who put ketchup on everything. Insufficient chicken prep. Everywhere. I don't know about you guys, but I just about gag when I bite into chicken and bite into a piece of cartilage or tendon or skin that makes the chewing experience go straight to hell. When I prep my chicken, I make sure to cut every bit of cartilage and tendon out and peel the skin off, unless my goal is to deliberately bake crispy skin, which I rarely do. Yes, I waste a ton of meat cutting all that shit out of it, but my chicken is 100% guaranteed to always be a non-horrifying eating experience. Restaurants? Other people's BBQs? Microwave TV dinners? The chicken cartilage they are subjecting their customers' guests to is just plain criminal. The real crime here is that you don't always make crispy chicken skin. Wasting food. This is a good answer, but throwing this out there. If there is still food on your plate, but you're not hungry, and it's not enough food to save as leftovers, it's already wasted. Unless you can't get regular meals, finishing that food will just make your body store it as fat that you don't need and you'll have to force yourself to do extra work to burn off later. The wasted food becomes wasted fat and wasted energy. Not wasting food is a great goal, but do it by buying, cooking, and taking smaller portions. Don't do it by forcing yourself to eat food you don't want to eat. Edit. Added buying smaller portions as something you can do to not waste food. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that if you can have a compost pile, composting extra food is a good way to prevent food waste, as many other commenters have said. Edit 2. I've seen over and over again in the responses people saying, well, if you just eat less the next day, that's not how our bodies work. Your body won't recognize that you had 2100 calories today, so it will crave 1900 calories tomorrow. Our body's signals are mostly based on the last time you ate and the amount of food in your stomach, not the amount of calories you consumed recently. Our bodies were designed for environments of scarcity, where we had to chase down our meals and couldn't always be sure when we'd eat next. You absolutely can moderate your own calories and eat less the next day, but you need to do that consciously. You can't trust your body to do it for you. And, let's be honest, unless you're on a calorie counting regimen you're not going to remember to do it. It's very hard to look at food on your plate, feel hungry, because your stomach isn't full yet, and stop eating. You'll find some excuse to eat, like I had a bad day, or I walked a lot so I earned this. It takes a lot of willpower to overcome the natural desire to eat. Edit 3. To the folks saying, nothing is too small for leftovers, are you really gonna save 2 french fries that are already doused in ketchup? What about the scraps of tomato chunks from the chunky pasta sauce that was already reheated leftovers? Some food you just can't or shouldn't save. A lot of it you can, yes, But let's be honest, at some point you will waste food. You wanna waste as little as possible, of course, but when you do reach that point, remember that forcing yourself to eat it is just as much wasting it as putting it in the trash. Making french fries out of cauliflower is okay if you want to. But telling me that I'm literally not going to be able to tell the difference between that and potato? That's the crime. It's just insanity. I can tell, as can everyone else with working taste buds who pays even the slightest bit of attention. Cauliflower is a great vegetable. You can make rice out of it, you can use it to bulk up a curry, you can slice and roast or fry it. But it tastes like cauliflower. It's never going to taste like potato or rice or meat. So let's not pretend. It can be very tasty in its own right, but as a substitute for something else, you're always going to be disappointed. My wife told me we were having spaghetti and meatballs for dinner. Man, oh man, was I hyped up. That's easily one of my favorites. I was thinking about it all day long. I was literally telling people at work how good of a cook she was and how much I loved that dish. I wanted them to be jealous. I got home to find spaghetti, squash and eggplant meatballs. A literal plate of lies and betrayal. Edit, she is still my wife. Edit 2, Djibouti. Someone, it tastes just like me, puts finger to their lips shhhhhm. I have to stop you right there. Brazilians are putting chocolate on pizza and Swedes are putting bananas on theirs. They are clearly the real enemy here. Chocolate pizza is nice, UK. Only if you turn it into more of a cake than a pizza and it's the only thing on it. Not like ham and chocolate pizza on a tomato base. Oh dear god, why? People who put ketchup on their porridge. Who the actual living fug? War crimes have had less shock value than this. Scrambled eggs are apparently supposed to still be 90% liquid. I can't bring myself to not cook them thoroughly. My neighbor used to pull all the cheese off her pizza and cover it in ketchup. Expanding on baklava in any way. Stop. Baklava is a gift from the gods on its own. Stop doing weird shit to it. Bananas do not belong in fridges. Put them in the fruit bowl. Edit. Alright, I've decided a plan because I'm a lazy ass. If you are going to use a banana as an ingredient, then if it must, then it can go in the fridge. If they are to be eaten alone, then they stay away from the fridge. My cousin licks ice creams till they're flat, then she turns them upside down and sucks the ice cream out of the bottom, then eats the cone. That's not how to eat one. Was she raised in a hotter environment than you were? Because where I'm from, that's pretty much the only way to eat it without getting hosed down on the front lawn. I saw a friend put pepper on ramen noodles. Weird, right? But then he reached for the salt. You don't need to salt instant ramen. Ever. Forget about arguing for pineapples on pizza. We need to destroy mayo and pizza lovers. You should see what people do with food in pornos. Not eating pizza crust. Not eating the crust is a very low form of existence. The claim that all bagels are the same. I worked in a third generation, 60-year-old bagel shop in New York. I will fight anyone that says they are the same as the mass-produced bagels in a chain supermarket.